Ready?
Let's do it.
All right, what's up, guys? I'm so excited and honored today to have my t-shirt brother. Obviously, he's a little more conservative that hides his. I'm all out. So to have my brother Kelson here to talk to us about stepping out of your comfort zone. I don't know if Kelson even knows this, so this will be news to you, bro. But like you're someone that I actually look up to a lot on. I know I do a lot of physical crazy stuff like my runs and whatnot. But this guy, my brother, actually inspires me because he does so much on stepping out of his comfort zone, like emotionally a lot. Like we're gonna get into it, but Kels has done improv, which to me would be so scary. Like I've done a lot of stuff in school where I public speaking stuff like that doesn't bother me, but the idea of doing improv where there's no plan and nothing wrote out, like that gives me anxiety already. Not to mention this guy's done some stand up and he's wrote a book, he's gone an audition for plays, he's done all kinds of stuff that we're going to talk about. So I'm so excited to get him on here to talk about how he's able to push through these things that I think a lot of us would consider very uncomfortable things. That this guy's out there crushing it, pushing himself, doing these things. So I'm so excited to get you on here to talk about that. And maybe we can sprinkle in some stuff about our dark childhood to make us understand why we're so broken and messed up. So, Kelson, so excited to have you on the show. Thanks for having some time. You're down in Vegas right now. It's a beautiful day. I'm sure it's nice and warm for you to
Yeah.
come and spend some time with us, man. So, thanks so much.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on, man. I've been looking forward to this actually for quite some time. Because likewise, you pushed me out of my comfort zone to try to uh, get into your realm of just going full send business style at least.
Full send.
And just kind of pursuing what you actually really want in life. And I remember at your wedding, I spoke and I was like, don't mess up, man, because I'm pretty much doing everything that you're doing. And you haven't done it so far. So you've been pretty spot on with being an awesome role model.
Wow.
So yeah, I appreciate you and just setting a good example. And the reason why I don't rock the V-neck white tee is because I don't have enough chest hair yet.
we
I
can
got
draw some in, bro.
right,
We can just
just
a
like
couple
my
sprinkles.
just like my goatee. But I mean, hey man, I'm starting to get some facial hair coming in. So
I actually am feeling a little concerned because now there's some competition. I can see it.
yeah, it's starting to really shine on camera. I've heard it's been popping on the
Yeah,
screen.
maybe tilt a little bit. You got to get the light to hit it. You got to
Right.
change your lighting.
Yeah, the lighting's not great right here,
Yeah,
but it's
but
it's
I
it's
can
there, people.
I can assure everyone here that when you see Kelsey, you'd be like, "Whoa, what a beard!" It just doesn't really show up on
Yeah.
camera.
Yeah, for some reason it has like stage fright on camera, so it just
Yeah,
goes invisible. I don't know
yeah,
what its deal is. I'm trying to work through it with that.
yeah.
We're trying to talk through it with the beard, but
Mhm. Awesome. Well, okay, so let's jump right into let's do a quick little background what you've done. You went to school for what and where? You were down in Klamath Falls.
yeah. So I started out not really knowing what I was gonna do. In high school, we took like that test that tells you what you're supposed to do or what you'd be interested in.
Oh,
Uh,
right, right.
Yeah, and I remember I already had it all dialed in actually. I told the guy that was giving out the test, I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna be a graphic designer," which
Mm.
I don't even know why I said that because I didn't even know what that really entailed. But looked at me, he's like, "Oh, you're gonna be a great graphic designer." And I was like, "Yeah, cool, thanks, man." But then that never happened, and went to University of Oregon, started out, and I was really into sports at the time, so I was like, "Oh, I want to be a part of a sports team." So I started out in sports business, and then I took my first business class, and I was like, "This is not it. This is not the move." Everything was just sounded like a foreign language. I was like, "This is awful." And then that started the slippery slope of not sure what I wanted to do and transferring to a bunch of different colleges, trying to figure it out and find myself along the way. And then I finally ended up in Klamath Falls, and I graduated with my bachelor's in radiologic sciences, so doing X-ray and MRI right now.
All right.
But yeah, I graduated in 2017, so I've been doing that off and on for about 6 years now.
Oh yeah, that's a good start. I remember, I think it was maybe 6 or 8 years into my engineering when you start to realize that it's not what you want and you
Uh,
start questioning
I knew
what
it.
else.
I knew it right away, man. So I knew it. But so this is the story. So I go on externship, right, to a different hospital because the first hospital I was at in Portland wouldn't train me in MRI, and that's what Dad told me to go into because there's no radiation. So
Mhm.
I had to transfer to a hospital in Tri-Cities, and I remember we had a patient come down, and we had to transfer him onto the MRI table. And so this patient comes down, we get him onto our table, and all of a sudden this patient goes, "Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit." And I'm like, what's going on? What's happening? He's like, "I'm gonna shit." And I was like, "No, don't do it. Don't do it on the table." He's like, "I got it." I was like, "No, don't do it." And so he just drops the deuce right there in front of my eyes on the table.
Like he
And
was squatting or what?
no, he was laying down, and
Oh, okay.
he like propped his legs up. I don't know how he did it, but
That's how you're supposed to poop when you're laying down is you
I
lift your
get
legs up.
I guess so. Kind of like
Oh,
you get in the right position just to let everything come out.
oh, I've
Yeah,
never
kind
tried.
of like giving birth, I guess. But
Mm.
I don't know how this guy did it, but he did it without peeing too. But anyway, so there was poop on the table, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" I was like, "This is crazy." I was like, "How am I gonna get this off the table?" So I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna do it doggy bag style. I'm gonna go find a bag, grab it, and then flip it inside
Don't you
out."
guys have a cleaning crew or someone that does
Yeah,
that?
yeah, that's us apparently.
Wait, so after a surgery, a surgeon goes and cleans up the mess too?
Oh gosh, no, no.
Oh,
Surgeon makes way more money. We're at the
uh,
bottom of the totem pole, so we do
so you
everything.
guys have to clean up your own shit,
Yeah,
literally.
so this guy, there's this deuce laying on the table, and this was before the scan even started, so we got good at cleaned up. And all of a sudden, one of the other techs just comes over. This guy has plenty of experience. He just comes over, grabs it with his hands, and takes it to the bathroom, drops it in the
Bare
toilet,
bare
flushes it
hand?
down. He had gloves on. He had gloves on.
Uh,
Yeah, and
did he wipe
so
his nose afterwards? Like, that's how it's done, boys.
yeah, and he just looks at me. He's like, "You'll learn, kid. You'll learn." And
You're like, Jeepers, mister, I want to be just like
yeah.
you.
And so ever since that happened, I was like, I think I messed up. Yeah,
Wow.
I think I went into the wrong career here.
Wow. Dang, man. All right. Well, let's transition out of that. Let's transition into what was you think the first thing that you did that really challenged you, to kind of step out of your comfort zone? Oh,
Oh man, I don't know. I'm not sure if it's because we had so many kids in our family that it was kind of easy just kind of throwing yourself into new situations and being
mm,
adaptable to all of them. I feel like that's where a lot of my adaptability comes from. Um, but as far as like the first time I remember being uncomfortable, uh, it was probably like I remember I can't remember, I think it was like second or third grade. They wanted me to play Santa Claus for one of the plays. And I mean I
I
loved
think I
being,
remember watching that video.
yeah, I love being like the center of attention and like the class
Mhm.
clown type thing.
Right.
But
Everything we didn't get as being one of seven in our family.
maybe, yeah, maybe.
But you did get a lot of attention
I think
for
I
those.
did.
This kid, I maybe I'll find a baby picture and post it, but this kid as a baby was like the cutest, weirdest looking baby that everyone was just obsessed with.
Yeah.
So you got so much. I think of all the babies, all seven of us, I want to say that you probably did get one of them. Maybe that was part of it, that became part of your thing because you always got so much tension that you wanted more. Whereas
Hmm.
mine was like not getting enough. And so always seeking what I didn't have. Anyway,
Yeah. Yeah.
so Santa
Uh,
Claus.
so Santa Claus, and I remember I went out there, or we started getting dressed and everything, and I had like this beard on and everything. It looked pretty legit. And I get these like, that butterfly feeling before you like taking center stage. I don't know.
Mm.
It's like something that you have to work through, but for me, it's more of like excitement. Like
Hmm.
it was like,
It's a
okay,
good feeling
yeah,
rather than a feeling of fear.
right. Yeah. It's like, okay, I know that like I'm kind of a little bit nervous about this, but I know that I want to do it.
Wow.
So it
I
like
love
builds up,
that.
it like builds up in there and I can feel it. And I'm like, all right, it's go time. When I can feel that, I'm like, I'm ready. But at the same time, I have to push myself past that because obviously there's some fear mechanism involved in that.
So
Uh,
that's amazing that you're already in, you said second grade is when that was?
that's that's a memory that pops up.
Yeah, and no, but I just think that it's so crazy because of all the stuff I've done and the books I read, all this, like I have to remind myself that because you're spot on. Like the part of our brain that gets triggered from fear is the same part that gets triggered from excitement. Like if they do brain scans, they don't know which one's
Mm,
which.
hmm.
So it's so cool that I think some of us are born with that ability of not letting the fear dominate of it's because it's the same part of our brain, but some people are like, oh, when I feel that, that's excitement, that's not fear. But for mine, when that part comes up, I'm just like, whoa, that's fear, I shouldn't do it. And so I've let that stump me and not do stuff so many times in my life.
Hmm.
So it's so cool that at such a young age you felt both, but you're like, no, that's excitement, and lean into it instead of run from it.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's obviously I feel like it's easier to do when you're younger versus now. Now when I feel it, I'm just like, do I really want to do that? I mean, I don't know. I don't think I actually want I don't think that's gonna bring me a lot of excitement after doing it. It's gonna be
You
But
justify it.
yeah, so there's a lot more reasoning happening in your brain when you're older. So it's a lot
Mhm.
easier to do when you're younger.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, it's definitely more hard to work through taking that extra step that I had to do. It's harder to do now,
And
but
so after you played Santa Claus and you went out there and for the whole school, mind
yeah,
you, the whole
yeah.
school of
And
what,
they like
like
turned off the
200
lights.
people, but
They
yeah.
like turned off the lights and had a spotlight on me, and then mom even came out and kissed me on the cheek because they were paying like Santa Claus
Oh yeah, yeah.
that
I think
one.
when mommy kissed
Yeah,
Santa
I
Claus, yeah,
mean,
yeah,
obviously not very appropriate, but
yeah.
but but
Yeah,
hey,
it's Oregon.
it would
It's
have
all
been
right.
it would have been canceled real quick in
Yeah,
today's age, but hey. But
awesome.
yeah, then I just remember after that, I was like, that was electric. That was because everybody come
Mm,
up to you afterwards and you're just like,
Kelson.
you're like, oh my gosh, that was so good. Like you're so cute out there. You're this. And I was like, I
Wow.
like
I
I
don't know
like
if I
that.
even I mean, I want to say I probably did because I guess you're right. When I was second, I was in Mrs. Campbell's class and I was just trying to think like, did I want attention? Did I want other people to see and notice me? But I go back, like I was second grade was like my biggest class clown year, because you get what you tolerate, and that teacher, Miss Campbell, who I loved, was amazing. She tolerated my wittiness, my smart ass.
Yeah.
Like I called her Miss Campbell soup label and like made all these jokes about her name, and she let me get away with it, and
Right.
I loved the attention that I got from the other kids. So I guess that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah. And then you did Miss UHS, which I don't know
Wait.
if you're
Yeah.
if your following's ready for that, but
I mean, I think that's a story for another time. This is
right, right,
about
right.
you. We don't need to get into my
Well,
past.
I did Miss UHS and
Oh yeah, there you go.
I
So
did Miss.
explain what's Miss UHS,
So there's this
which makes perfect sense. Like I think the craziest thing is back in our day, um, like when I remember telling people, "Oh, I was Miss UHS," they're just like, "Oh yeah, that makes sense." Whereas now, if you said that, I think that the whole cancel all of this would come up. So
yeah, it would definitely have some different focus on it. But this group for our school, FBLA, I think that's who it was.
future business leaders of America. This
Yeah,
is
they
yeah, this is a
they
future business.
they put on a cross-dressing competition where all the
Yeah.
boys would dress up as girls and do like
But girls never dressed up as guys. Is the now that I
that's
think
yeah.
about this, like, okay. Anyway,
we were sexist over there apparently.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, so they put on this show, and then it's like it's laid out like USA pageant show type thing.
Oh yeah, I do
Um,
remember.
and I
There
remember
wasn't a swimsuit contest though,
no,
was there?
no, you just had
I was gonna say I don't remember putting on a swimsuit.
yeah, you had
Remember, there's a talent.
your talent,
I
and
think you.
then your show dress, the
Oh,
really
that was it. Yeah, a custom, like a ball
yeah,
dress or something. Yeah,
something like that. Um,
and then you had to
and
answer
yeah,
questions.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I just remember they asked me to do it, or they said I should do it, and I was so stoked for it. I felt that energy again. I was like, I'm so ready for this. This is gonna be a
So wait,
blast.
this the last time you felt energized was in second grade, and so you waited until till when?
Well, our school didn't have
Oh
theater or
yeah,
anything like that.
I think we can't. Yeah, that's true too. But I don't
Oh,
think Miss UHS. I think yours might have been the second time they did Miss UHS. It didn't become an annual thing.
oh, really? Yeah, I don't know. I
I think
didn't
it
know.
started the year that I did it.
And then it took a break, and then it
And
came
then
back
it
on
was
the
like,
year I did
whoa,
it.
that was too much. And then they had
That
to
was
forget about it.
that was too much, huh?
Yeah,
Well, that's crazy that they brought it back for the Bertrand Bros.
I guess. Yeah. They're like, hey, did you get
Hey,
it? I did
the,
you were you crowned?
I mean,
Is,
I don't
is
want to
it
talk. I don't want to talk. I came in second place, but
wow, dude? You should have.
the only reason I got shafted was because the guy that he was a senior, and so they gave it to him because he was older.
Oh, yeah,
But
yeah. You had to earn your
everybody
right.
everybody that was
Earn your
there,
right.
knew I won it, and there was
Mm.
some booze in the crowd. Um,
Wow.
I actually tore my groin doing my talent.
What was your talent?
I dressed up like a cheerleader and I did the Macarena,
Uh-huh.
but I came out and I tried to do like this toe touch and like this
Oh,
jump
wow.
and do the splits.
Uh-huh.
And so I actually tore my groin at the beginning of the competition.
Wow. Way to play all out.
So when it came to the dress one, you had to wear high heels, and I could barely walk across stage. So I was like going out there like stretching out my my legs,
Oh,
and there was
wow.
like there was like a big slit where I was just stretching my leg. It was good.
Pretty good.
It was
Is
good.
it made for good theater. No wonder why you're so ready for improv. So take me to that. Like what brought you to want to do improv for the first time?
It was actually self-help. When I graduated college and realized I made a mistake, I started diving into self-help because I was just miserable. So
Yeah.
I started reading a bunch of those self-help books, and one of them, I can't remember the name of them because I've read so many, but one of them mentioned that improv is one of the best things to get into for trying to improve yourself. And
I think it may and I would it's funny because I've read a ton of these books as well. And if I read that, I would have just went over it that it didn't stick for me. So
yeah,
it's so interesting that you're like, oh yeah, that's the one. Whereas mine's like, do meditation, go push yourself, go do hard stuff. Here's like improv. Yeah, that one sounds good.
yeah,
It's interesting. But what I think what's the foundation of improv that is so beautiful, it's about releasing, about letting go, not worrying about what other people think about you, and also releasing that you have to know what's next.
yeah,
That's what to me is this huge allure with improv of the fear of, oh, what am I supposed to say? What am I supposed to do? Oh, what are they going to think about me? What if I'm looking like this? Like, it's like, this is it. It's like totally exposing all of that.
yeah. Yeah, it's just a major part of it is if you stick with it long enough, and you see a lot of these comedy actors, they all start in improv, but it's just becoming so in tune with who you are on a deeper level, and just letting that out into the world. Like you're releasing all your magic that you have in you, and you're just
But
letting it out in the world without any repercussion of what's going to happen.
what's
Um,
the magic that you're talking about? Like, what? Because I've only watched it on TV, but like, what would be an example of going into an improv uh class? Like what do they give you a scene? I mean, I've seen like Michael Scott at his right on The Office when he's got the guy.
it's
Yeah.
And he goes up to Ken Jeong, the Asian guy, and
Yeah,
he just
whispers
whispers
in
in
his
his
ear.
ear. He just like he's like, what did he say? He said he's gonna kill me. He's got a gun that he can't show me, but he's gonna kill me.
Yeah.
Uh,
So is that what
but
it's really like? Like, hey, here's a scene, like go in there and do something.
yeah, it's kind of like that. A lot of the very beginning improv classes, they kind of teach you the fundamentals. So there's a few things. There's yes and, which means you're always accepting what the other person's giving to you, and you're not trying to make yourself or like make a joke out of it. You're just accepting what they're giving to you. And you just, whatever's first thing into your mind, that's the biggest thing of improv. The first thing that's in your mind needs to come out of your mouth. No, even if it sounds like not even relevant, it just has to come out. And that's a great thing to have. Because then you're
Build
not trying,
confidence,
you're not
courage.
trying to overthink anything. You're just
Right.
whatever's first in, first out.
Hmm.
And so that's kind of a big thing with improv is they set up these scenes where, like I just did one in Los Angeles at the Groundlings, which is where Will Ferrell did his, which is why I wanted to do a class there. But they have this game where you are with a partner and they set up they have to put their hands in a certain, or you like move around to start, and
Yeah.
then the instructors just like stop, and then she's like, what do you have in your hands? And so like you have to like look at yourself, look at your position, and be like, I am holding a staff rod that Aquaman uses in the movies.
Oh
And
well, I
then,
was thinking pineapple.
but I got two hands here. What, two pineapples?
You're marveling the pineapple, bro. Like, whoa.
See, there you go. That's even better.
Yeah.
And then your scene partner has to come in and play off of that. And then that sets the scene.
And then what's a successful scene improv set? I don't know what's the term. Or
Well,
is there such a thing? Is there really like is there an again, this is my brain. Like how, why, what, success, like what's good? Like
yeah,
what's or is the function there isn't one. It's nothingness. It's
no,
just
there
it is.
there is, you'll
Oh.
if you go watch improv, you'll be able to tell what's good and what's not, obviously.
Is it
Um,
that it's funny, that it seems like it's
yeah,
real?
there's a flow to it. It's just like
Okay.
a nice flow between the two characters, and they really emphasize developing a relationship to your scene partner. And
Okay.
they don't want you to like try to make it funny. They're more about just accepting your scene partner, whoever he is, whatever he's doing,
Mhm.
and you try to build a relationship. Because they talk about comedies really just in the details. So even if you're just having like a relationship with someone, like
Right.
you're a mom and son or something in a scene, as long as the audience can feel that, then then things that they do or interact with each other and how they feel towards each other starts to become funny.
Hmm. Wow. Okay. So how long have you been doing improv then? So you read this self-help book that said, "Hey, go ahead and get into improv." Is what was the promotion on that? What did they say? Oh, get into improv. It's gonna do what?
It
Or do you
will,
remember?
I don't necessarily remember, but I know that it will just make you, like, if you're trying to work on your wittiness or your humor, it will just make you a lot more quicker with that.
Hmm.
It will decrease your analysis paralysis that you have by just, you know, if you, because when you go and there's people that try to really overthink the scene or what they're going to say next, like it just stops everything, and no matter what they say next, it's not going to be funny,
Right. Yeah.
and then everybody's just staring at you because you're just frozen and you're trying to think.
Right.
So it definitely just forces you to just say, you know what, whatever's, I'm not sure if this is going to be funny or not, but it's in my head and it's coming out. So
So then the goal is to get to where I don't think, because I think a lot of us would pre-phrase, I don't know if this is going to be funny, and then they say the thing. But I think once you get better, you just say the thing instead of prefacing it.
yeah, yeah, you definitely don't want to preface nothing.
Yeah.
You just want to let loose. And it's definitely, I think it's great for this, people who are maybe more introverted or who just tend
But
to,
that's so daunting. Like, I mean, so I want to go back to this. Let's say, because what would you classify yourself as, introvert or extrovert? Or I think there's even an identity between or whatever now. I'm sure that they have something for everything.
yeah,
But
I mean, I would probably say I'm lean more towards extrovert, but not like a supreme extrovert. More just like I love to jump in and try things out just to kind of. So my thing is, I see something that interests me, so I jump in and do it, and then afterwards I see how I feel about it. Like,
so
how did that make me feel?
so there's a party happening. What is you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to go to the party. I'm nervous to go to the party. You don't know anyone at the party. It's like, 60 people.
Yeah,
And you're not with anyone either. Like it's just you're walking by, you hear a party. Do you go to the party?
no, probably not.
Why not?
If I have someone with me, then I'll go to it.
A hundred
But
percent. Same.
if I'm invited to the party, I'll go solo. Yeah.
So you're walking by, there's a party, they invite you in. Do you go, oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
I'm
Oh yeah. I'm jumping in for sure. Or if I'm
yeah.
walking by and I start talking to someone like out front.
But
Um,
then you get in and that person dissolves. You're not attached to that person anymore. It's just you and 60 people.
hmm
Are you excited to go
I
meet
I'm nervous. Like I have that feeling come up in me because
Santa Claus is coming back?
yeah, like
Yeah.
I'll definitely have that in me, but I love meeting new people. I love this
So
kind
you're
of
excited at the opportunity that waits for you.
yeah, not so much that I have to do it solo, but
Because for
I
me, I love especially once it's a deep, meaningful conversation and connect. Oh my god, like I mean, literally, is what I
yeah,
live for. Like I love that.
that's my love language too.
But the audacity of meeting someone, filtering, it's not efficient. It's all these things like, and I shy away. Like if I was like, okay, well, you're gonna be put in this thing of 60 people and you have to go meet all the people. I'm like, I don't really want to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, there's times when I don't really like that because of all the small talk that
Yeah,
happens in the beginning. It's all the same stuff
that's
over and
mine,
over
is
again.
it's not efficient. So it's like just get naked already. And by that I
Right.
mean like be vulnerable, be authentic, like tell me what your fears are, what you want, where you're trying to get to. Like let's get to the real meat and potatoes. Let's stop being like, how about the weather? How about these drinks? How about like, oh my gosh, how about
Yeah.
not?
Yeah,
Okay,
that's usually how I am too, but I like to see if I can get into that with them
I guess
quick.
that's true. Okay. So, but let's go back because I want to help someone that's watching this, or what advice you'd give yourself. So, when you decide, okay, I want to go into improv, when you were getting ready to go your first day and you signed up, was it hard for you to drive there and to do the improv?
Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect.
I mean, more so it was harder for me to go to the audition as versus improv because I know it's a class.
Which one came first, improv or
Improv
the audition?
improv came first.
Okay,
So
so let's
yeah,
stay there. So you're
yeah,
you're getting ready. Was it easy for you to sign up for improv? You read the book. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. I'm in. Let me go online. I booked it. Was that
yeah,
part easy?
yeah. Booking it's easy. Yeah.
Okay, so we did that. And now we're at the day of the improv.
hmm
And you have to drive there, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I was in Boston, so I took the subway, but yeah, I took the
Okay.
train.
So you're on the train on your way there. What's going on in your mind?
Just the excitement again. Like
Oh,
the
this is stupid. We're not okay, we're done.
no no but it's not
It's
it's
easy. I
like
was happy. Yeah.
it's like a fear, nervous excitement. I don't know.
Yeah, but I think that we identified it so well that like literally for some people it comes up as excitement and other people it comes up as fear. For me, I would just be like, why am I doing this? You know what? Maybe this isn't my stop. Maybe I need to get off here. Like I would be grasping for every reason not to do it. Like that would
Yeah.
my brain would be like, here's a problem. I feel anxiety, I feel nervous, I feel scared. And then it goes, oh, well, let me solve this. Oh, well, you're not wearing the right shirt, or maybe you should do this, or maybe you could be doing that. Like it's
Mhm.
trying to give me all the information on why I shouldn't
Yeah.
do the thing.
This is why I think it's very important to find the things that give you this excitement, that
Mm,
nervous excitement, and lean into those more.
yeah.
Because I mean, when you're going through like what you're saying, it's gonna take a long time to overcome that. And those are the type of things that you have to slowly start working on. Like I'm that way when it comes to like approaching a girl I find attractive, or
Mm,
like I want to talk to her so bad because I know once I get into the conversation, I'm pretty good with
right.
the conversation and moving
But
it
it's the
along.
initial unknown.
But
Is this
yeah, it's just the initial like and then if it doesn't, like if she doesn't have that emotional connection to me, then afterwards I'm like, shoot, what did I did wrong? And I just go into a
blame yourself?
I go into deep analyzing mode. It's like, oh, my shirt was wrinkled, or I didn't wear it
Right. Because I'm
deep
sure
enough.
that's what it was. Yeah, there the V's
That
wasn't out
my
enough.
V
Yeah.
neck wasn't deep enough to show my one chest hair. Uh, I see them. They're popping. They're popping.
Uh,
But yeah, as far as going to improv and auditioning, it's scary for sure, but it's something that I enjoy doing.
but
So
it's
I
an
know,
excitement scare. It's not a
yeah,
fear.
it's
And
like, yeah,
okay. And I love to hear that because I think a lot of us are always told, oh, just do it, just whatever. But it doesn't sound like that fear is coming in when you're going to improv. Now let's go transition into you were talking about going to your first audition.
mm-hmm.
What about when you were scheduled? First, what made you want to go to do an audition?
Because I remember Dad took me to an audition at Eastern Oregon University when I was younger, because I was interested in pursuing it as a career. And he took me to an audition, and I went out, and there was this like three people just sitting that, and the whole auditorium's empty, but there's three people just sitting there in front of the stage, and you have the spotlight on you. And I just froze. Like I was like, this is intense. Like I was supposed to read some lines and I couldn't even do it. I was like, this is way too intense.
Yeah.
And so I left, and nothing ever transpired
How
out of
old
it.
were you at that point?
I want to say I was in high school for sure.
Oh wow. Okay.
Maybe it was when I went. Yeah, it must have
What
been.
how walk us through that moment of shame, if you would. So you're on the stage and the spotlight's on you and you're frozen. When do you pull the, or if you can remember? I mean, there might be some trauma that's hard for you to even bring back some of that. But when you're there on the stage and frozen, when do you decide this isn't happening and then you just walk off, or did they excuse you of like, okay, you're done here?
Yeah, I don't really know because Dad set it up, and you know how he is. He's pretty good at getting things organized, and so I don't really know what was happening. But he was just like, "Hey, like I got something set up for you. Just go read a couple of these lines, for this play that's coming up." And so we go and we get to the university, and we're like going through the back part of the behind the stage where all the props and everything is,
Mhm.
and we're just kind of looking at everything. And he's like, all right, let's go out onto the stage here.
No prep or
And
anything. Not like, hey, let's run through a couple lines. Hey, this is what you're gonna feel. This is how
no,
you're gonna get through it. Whatever.
yeah,
Just
no,
like you go into the
it,
pool and start swimming.
yeah, it was just a full
But I
send.
got the pool set up for you. Don't
Yeah,
worry. Which
right.
I love that. Like, and I think this is a testament to like his loving. Like that. Hearing that is so loving and caring that like he cared about you. He wanted to set this up. He
Hmm.
could have prepared you and done some things better, but there's still so much love centered in like, hey, let me set this up for you.
Yeah, no, it was clutch. It was really cool that he did that. And I just remember getting out on center stage and then looking at these three people, and I was like, geez. And they're like, all right, whenever you're ready. And I just stood there, and I think I just looked at Dad and I said, I'm not ready. And so then we just went back and walked into the back again, and that was it. So
Did you
ever
guys talk about it afterwards? Did he say anything or
I can't remember. Yeah,
yeah?
I don't really remember if there was any conversation afterwards. There might have been, but
Yeah. not enough to stick or to remove
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah, no, not enough
Okay.
to not enough to keep me pursuing that as a
Yeah.
career.
Okay. So how long were you doing improv before you did your audition?
So I just did that one improv class, then I moved from Boston to Bend, Oregon, and I wanted to get involved in theater again because it's always something that's in my brain. Like I just love
Right.
performing and entertaining. So it's always something that's basically running through my mind a lot of the time. I was like, I gotta do something for this. Like I can't just let it keep running through my brain and not do anything.
Right. It's there for a
Uh,
reason.
yeah, and that's how I feel like a lot of things in your mind are. They're there for you to explore and try out.
It's so crazy because I think it was Ryan that I was talking to a while ago, Sloppy. Um, that I was because I think as engineers we've been taught not, or not even taught, but we just haven't got good. And I know that's terrible English, but we haven't got good at trusting our intuition. We've
Mm,
learned to trust math, trust all these other things, everything except for ourselves. And I remember talking to him of like, oh my gosh, whenever you get a thought, whenever you get an idea, whether you believe in the universe, God, whatever, but like I believe that when we have like out of there's infinite thoughts that you could have. So the fact that you're having that thought is literally God, the universe saying, hey, here's something for you to think about, which technically is your intuition. So
mhm.
I love what you're saying. Like when you're thinking of, there's a reason that thing is coming up. And I would argue that that's actually your intuition. It's just whether do you acknowledge it or do you just blow it off?
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I agree to that with some aspect. I feel like a lot of the thoughts that come in aren't necessarily true to your true authentic self, but I think once you have something that's just constantly replaying and then you feel it maybe more in your gut level, or um you have dabbled in it in the past and it's brought you some excitement and it's still there, then that's something that needs to be acted on.
Okay.
And
So you,
that's where I was at with this. It's like I know I've done this in the past, like with those few things in high school, and then I had done improv and I knew I enjoyed that. And I was like, okay, it's time to act on this because I know I enjoy it.
no pun intended.
Exactly. So then I was in Bend and I just was researching online for theaters around the area. And stumbled across this place and they actually had an upcoming play and there was auditions and they had a date for the audition. And I remember I was like, all right, I'm going to audition for this play. And I had no clue what to expect or what what you had to do at an audition.
Mm-hmm.
Because that first one, I had the lines that I was supposed to read, but that was about it.
Right.
So
So wait,
I knew there was
before
lines.
I want to go into the mindset and all that stuff, not hey, I just went and this is what it was like. Like, but like what were you feeling when you went to do the audition? Like
Yeah,
were
this
did you
was
prepare? You were given lines and all that stuff to
no. So I didn't get any lines from the start. I just knew what the
okay.
play was. So I started doing research on the play, and there was a few YouTube videos of other people doing the play.
Okay.
So I was just trying to get a feel of, what it was and maybe which character would best suit me. But I'm pretty new to the whole theater scene, so I didn't know which character to focus on or anything like that. And
Mhm.
I got off work. It was after work that I had to go audition. So I got off work and I was
But they
gonna
didn't tell you what to prepare for, what to do. It's just, hey, be here at this time.
yeah.
Okay. So
And
auditions, probably all positions
yeah,
are happening.
they're trying to fill all the characters.
Okay.
And I got off work and I was thinking about this audition all day long.
Yeah.
And
Wait, what type of feeling? Are we feeling excited? Like your
oh
old
yeah,
Santa Claus BS? Or is this like a real human where the fear is the self-doubt, oh, maybe I shouldn't do this. Oh, it's late. Oh, I'm hungry.
yeah.
Oh, my white shirt isn't white enough. Like what kind of stories and ideas are in your head at this point?
Yeah, I definitely had a long day at work and I was pretty tired, and I was like, there's gonna be plenty of other opportunities, I
Okay,
can
so now you're
I can
human.
I can do this another day, or
Yeah.
like I can audition for another time. Like, I was so scared. I was like, well, I don't even know what to expect. Didn't know what was
Yeah,
gonna
so much
happen
unknown.
once I show up, like, how does it work? What's the whole process? Like, I have to, audition against someone else. And like, I don't have any acting experience. So I'm probably going to be pretty bad. So all that, was running through my head. And I almost got to the point where I was like, all right, I'm not going to go.
Were you driving there while all this is coming up,
No,
or are you just driving home?
this was after work. Yeah. So I got to my
Okay.
house and I was still just probably pacing around the house, because that's what I tend to
Yeah,
do when I'm trying to think through these situations.
of
It's
course.
like,
Yeah, we're active thinkers. We
uh,
have to move.
right.
I think that's dad for obviously most people don't know, but our dad is like really smart. Like it's all mental, and our mom is like crazy active. She was raised on a farm, so like she's just always going. So
Oh, so it's a combo
I
of the
think it's
two.
a combo of our nervous energy is like let's think, and then the mom comes in of like okay let's do like that's
But
why movement meditation was so good for me.
yeah,
Anyway,
yeah,
keep
I
going.
haven't tried that. So yeah, so I was just like, I'm not gonna go. I was like, I'm not good enough for this. Like, I'm not gonna get the part. So what's even the point, And then I was like, dude, this is so stupid. You enjoy this, like, this is just be a good introductory to like figure out
Wow.
if this is like what you want to like pursue, or like if what type of energy it gives you. And so then I was like, okay, I'll just go to the car. I'm just gonna get to the.
Wow, oh my gosh, like
I was
that's have you read that from books and stuff? How did you know
I
to
it probably was from one of the various books I've read throughout the
huh?
years on self-help.
But I mean
But
that's just textbook. Like you take a big task and you do one little thing.
yeah, I just started breaking it down into mini goals. And so my
Yeah.
first one was like, dude, just get in your car. That's all I need you to do. Just get in the car. So I go
Wow.
out and I get in the car. I was like, okay, nice work.
Get it. All
Here
right,
we
now
go.
I'm out of here.
Yeah. I was like, all right, we're looking good, son. We're looking good. And then my next goal was, or I was like, okay. I was like, then I started thinking about it a little more. I was like, all right, even if I don't get the part, maybe I can volunteer, be part of the
Wow.
lighting
Lower
cast.
your setting. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, just so I'm around the environment, just to kind of see how I feel about it.
Right.
Um, and so then I was like, okay, I'm just gonna drive there. That's all I gotta do. Just drive to the spot. And so I get there, and it's really boiling up now because I'm outside the theater now, and it's just
Yeah.
like I can feel it, man. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I was
Is
like, all
that
right,
excitement or is that
it's
fear?
oh yeah, fear.
Yeah. Okay.
It was fear, excitement, more so fear, I think, in this one. And I was like, all you gotta do is just walk in the door. That's it. Just walk in the door, see what happens after that. That's it.
Wow.
And that took me a little bit to get myself to do that, but I finally did it. And I walk through the door and all these other people are there reading over their lines. And I just get in and I just like kind of scan the room, kind of see what's going on. Um, and then because by the time I got there, I told myself, I was like, I'm not even auditioning. I'm just gonna volunteer
I'm
just to
just
help out.
here. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm already quitting
Yeah.
as I get there. Yeah.
I've already resigned my role as a lead
Yeah.
character in this play.
Right.
I'm too good for it. So,
Yeah. Right. Even though I can't even try out for it. But
yeah.
yes. Yeah.
Uh, so
It's
at that
crazy how
point,
our mind does these things to
yeah.
us.
So I was just gonna go talk to him about volunteering. And then I got in there, I started seeing other people, and then they're like, "Oh, are you here to audition?" I was like, "Yep." I was like,
Oh,
"Yes."
now it
I was,
switched.
I was like,
You
"Yep."
did you go in the bathroom and change to the big boy pants? You're like, here we go.
No,
Game
no,
time.
no. Just gave myself a couple little taps. So, uh,
Yeah.
and yeah, so then I grabbed the character form and just kind of read through some of the characters and auditioned for a few parts, and I was pretty bad because I remember I was just smiling the whole time I was auditioning because I was the first one I auditioned with this other guy. We were supposed to be brothers or something. And there was this one point where I was supposed to hit this high pitched voice. And I was just like laughing the whole time. I was like trying to do this high pitched voice. And the director was like, all right, okay, that's enough. And so then I left, and I actually got a call a couple of days later, and they're like, hey, we want to offer you the role for this character, which I never even auditioned for. And I was like, sweet.
They're like, it's a broom.
Yeah. They're like, you're just a tree in the background. So then I took it, and
What was the position?
Daryl. He was
they always give you the Daryl. The fallback's always a Daryl in a barrel.
He was the assistant to like this top movie producer.
Okay.
And he was also in love with the movie producer's fiance.
Wow. Wait, so did you have lines and all that jazz?
Oh yeah.
Oh wow, that's awesome then. So that's cool that you at least got something out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a blast. It was a lot of fun. And then COVID happened, so then we never actually got to do the performance. We just did a bunch of rehearsals. So
yeah,
that's kind of bummed me out that I never actually got to perform it. But
I mean, but again, like you were so involved and committed to the process of like showing up, you did all the practice, all that stuff. Like to me, like that, I would say that's success.
Oh yeah. And like I remember I'd come home and just be practicing the lines in my house, or I'd be looking in the mirror, like trying to work on my facial expressions. But yeah, I put a lot.
What's the hardest facial expression? What are the ones to practice?
I don't know, man. It's these.
Is it just like blue steel and stuff like that? Like,
no, it's these small like micro expressions that you see. Like if you watch The Office, Steve Carell does a great job. He's just his face is like always moving. He's just like always like doing something with his eyebrows, or like he'll with his he'll change his look. I don't know. It's pretty cool how they do it, but yeah.
When you just watch The Office and take like a couple minutes of watching Michael Scott, and just try to mimic that. Is that what you try to do? Or
yeah, I try. I do try to do that. Yeah, when I'm watching shows, I try to sometimes mimic them.
Oh wow, I'm gonna watch you next time we're watching a show just to see what you're doing. Mine is like, oh god, there's this new show. It's interesting since I had this whole feeling awakening that I actually know my feelings and understand them and all this. Like I haven't watched a lot of rom-coms since then, but back in the day when I watched rom-coms, it wasn't for feelings, it was how to be perfect. It was like, what does a guy do? What does a guy say? Like, what's a witty comeback? Like, what are all these things? Like it was a study for me. There was no feeling. So
yeah, I've gone through that phase, especially in college, where I was trying to figure out how to be the perfect
which is crazy because it's all BS. I mean, from my experience in college, like being that, I guess it works because like obviously being married and all that, like when you find someone, like those things work, but like what you want as a guy, like especially back then, is like that's not necessarily what you're looking for, but you're trying to be that character.
Yeah, it's funny. So I just got back from this travel gig, and I had asked a girl out that I worked with. I asked her out on a date, which I don't ask girls out a lot because I'm pretty bad at it.
They ask you out?
No, I just go through some dry spells, Sahara Desert style. And so I've been trying to ask more girls out because I can connect with them and I like talk to them very easily. But then once I get
to the initial,
then when I get to like wanting to ask them out, like I don't know, it's very hard for me. So I've been trying to work through that. And I've taken some courses in the past on how to be more attractive to girls, and mysteriousness was always a big one that they taught you, try to be mysterious, try not to answer too many questions. And
right, nice.
So that's kind of apparently has been ingrained in me. Well, first of all, because
so when they ask you your name, you're just like, I don't know.
Yeah, I just tell them that's not necessary to know.
Yeah. And then do they just walk away?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then your coach is like, killed it.
Yeah, crushed it,
Killed it.
man. Don't
Job
worry.
secure. You're gonna be with us forever.
Yeah, don't worry.
Yeah,
She's
keep
she's
doing it.
getting, that's your
Yeah,
area of
sorry.
expertise, bro.
Anyway,
I
like
don't got no
she,
kids.
like the unknown is where all like the times that I've had kids, I didn't know when I was going to have, I didn't know what they're going to be like. I don't know when they're going to come up and say they love me. Like all these unknowns is
Yeah,
where life happens. It's where experiences are actually formed. And it's
yeah,
so crazy that me and all these analytical people were so fixated on controlling and trying to know everything. And you can, but when you do that, you make your world so small because there's infinite possibilities of infinite things that when you can predict what's going to happen, how it's going to happen, then you know how you're going to feel. And when you know how you're going to feel, you take away all the joy and excitement out of the
yeah,
experience. So I have to work so hard of being like, okay, doing this thing where I control stuff isn't really what I want. Like I think I want control, but what do I really want? I want happiness, I want excitement, I want love. And that all happens in the unknown.
yeah, definitely. And I remember reading this quote by Anthony DeMello in one of these books called Awareness.
I
And
love that
he
book.
said,
Been reading
yeah,
it.
it's a great book. It's one of my favorites. I would recommend it. It takes us, you have to be pretty far along your journey to get to where you can understand that book. But once you can, it's great. But he says, uh, people don't actually fear the unknown, they just fear leaving the known. and and I think that's so accurate, because once you're in the unknown, it's so much fun.
It is.
uh,
And that's what I've just seen time and time again. But sometimes that old mindset wants to like, oh no, there's fear, there's this. And so it starts to drag me back. But
mhm,
okay,
yeah,
so you saw there's open mic, you're like, I'm gonna read. How far out was the registration when you did it? Did you have how much time to
it's
prepare? Because I would be like, give me 2 years. Yeah, I'll sign up for that.
no, the open mic's on Tuesday night. And I want to say, I think I usually, when I go to a new city, I usually research this stuff. So I think I had known about it before, but when I really committed, I think I gave myself like 2 days or something.
Wow. Like
Uh,
that's insane. Like no
yeah.
way. Did you even have any material wrote?
Yeah, I actually wrote up a joke about the the first time I learned how to masturbate.
Wait, wait. 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 Um
I had this joke.
what
I had
wait,
this.
no, you can't go into that yet because that my brain just is frazzled now. Like there's just so many things. So did you
Uh,
have that wrote up before you decided to do the open mic, or you did the open mic and it's in 2 days? You're like, wow, I should probably figure something out.
yeah,
I
and
got the
then
perfect joke.
I
Let me get
had
this
it.
let me get this banger out.
I had this joke running around my head. It's kind of a true story. Actually, it is a true story.
Kind of
Uh,
is.
it
Wait,
really, it really
so
happened.
so how much material do you have to have for
You have to
to
have
go
3 minutes.
3 minutes? And did you rehearse? Like how many jokes is that in 3 minutes that you have to come up? Or can you just do one and do like a 1 minute pause, like what that Kaufman guy or something?
Yeah, I mean, you can do whatever you want up there. You got 3 minutes, and the stage is all yours. So you
Yeah.
can go up there and just sit there and look at people, and some people find that funny. Or you can you can go up there and talk for 3 minutes. It's pretty
Wow.
much, you can do one joke the whole time. Um,
Okay.
or you can just do a bunch of little snippets of jokes. But
So what was your plan of attack, or did you even have a plan of attack?
yeah, my plan of attack was, I wrote out this masturbation joke,
Okay.
and I timed it, and it was close to 3 minutes. I rehearsed it a
Wow,
couple.
the whole joke was 3 minutes long.
Yeah, and I rehearsed it and everything. And basically, I read it. I'm staying with my buddy here in Vegas because he rents to me for cheap. So I told him I was going, and he was like, "What's your joke gonna be?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna do this masturbation joke." And so I I did the joke to him, and
Before, is this the day you were leaving?
it was, yeah,
Okay.
it was the day that
So
I
there's
was
a
gonna.
lot on the line. If he doesn't laugh, if nothing, you're going with that momentum into the
Right,
yeah,
which
yeah.
was
Which
a
terrible idea.
rookie mistake. Yeah,
Yeah,
now looking back on it, terrible
yeah,
idea.
yeah,
So I'm telling him this joke, dude, and his face is just like he couldn't believe what I was telling him,
yeah.
and he's like, I don't know, man. That's
He's crying
he's like
afterwards. He's just like, bro, yeah.
he's like that seems a little too intense, man. He's like that's like way too like vulnerable type stuff, and
You're like, you don't know comedy if it hit you in the face,
yeah,
you idiot.
and that's what the great comedians do is they just talk about their life and just
Yeah,
be vulnerable 100%, and
I
that's the good stuff. So as soon as I saw his reaction, because
wait.
base
When you read it to him, how long before your actual uh presentation, your stand up gig?
I want to say I probably had like 3 or 4 hours
Okay,
beforehand.
so you had some time to do something. Okay.
Yeah. Um, so I read him that joke and he didn't have the reaction I was hoping for.
Yeah.
And I honestly I just thought that this was just gonna be a small venue, just kind of like an open mic with, like 10, 15, 20 people there.
But you're
So
still
that
rolling with it. So you're like, it's okay. He didn't understand it. I'm just gonna go do it for the 15 people. It's gonna be fine.
yeah, well, I was like, once I get there, I'll assess the situation because I'm kind of quick on my feet. So once I get on stage, I can kind of switch things up fairly good,
What
or
were you
at
gonna
least
switch it up to?
I don't
You're
know
like,
that
man, that those few improv classes are gonna come in clutch tonight,
I
baby.
don't know, man, but I just had this feeling of like the skill of just being able to adapt and
I
just
love
kind of
it.
and still wing
I
it.
just and I think that's just insane. Like how and this is I mean, same, I'm sure our DNA is similar, but like just how different. Like my mind, the negative, the like fear, the excitement would not be pulling me. The fear would be protecting me.
Yeah. Yeah, I honestly don't know how it transpired to my brain working like that.
I mean, yeah, I
I
don't know
mean,
if we'll be able to figure that out, but it is
no,
what it is. So
yeah.
okay, so you're there. Okay, so you get there. Walk us through
And
that.
I think a big thing is I'm used to being made fun of because I got made fun of for being short pretty much my whole life.
Mm.
So I'm kind
Did
of
it
you.
did it hurt when people made fun of you, or like did you just be like, oh yeah, that's what it is?
I felt like, yeah, that's what it is. But at the same time, I still had a feeling like, why is this person like picking on me so much? Like, it doesn't seem necessary.
Mm.
And then I was like, oh, and then I realized that they had their own problems and were
Yeah, but you
trying to,
don't realize that at the time when you're a kid, unless
I
your
actually,
parents are helping you.
I did in high school. I realized that pretty
Oh,
much the
okay.
majority of people that were picking on me or making fun of me were either
We're
overweight.
using it to step up themselves.
Hmm.
You go down, so I go up.
Yeah. And then
Okay.
obviously reading about it, and that's pretty much exactly what was happening. So
Right.
I think that was a big thing is like I'm kind of used to being made fun of, kind of used to being the butt of all jokes, so to speak. So maybe
The
that's
short end of the stick
yeah. There you go.
all day.
All day.
Sign me up for improv. I'm
Yeah,
ready.
he's right. So I'm kind of, I guess I'm used to that. So if someone's laughing at me, I'm not too worried because
Okay.
I'm trying to laugh too, laugh away the pain or not.
Yeah, I love that. Let's go.
Um,
We'll talk about that later.
yeah.
Okay, so you're there. What you're there, and it
So
sounds like it's a bigger venue than what you expected.
yeah, it's pretty professional looking venue,
Oh
and
wow.
I walk in.
How do you keep going? How do you not just be like, you know what? Abort this. I'm
Yeah,
out.
this one I should have aborted, but I should have aborted real
No,
quick.
you shouldn't have.
So I get there and I park, and I'm nervous as heck, man. Like I'm freaking out. And so I'm just like, just same thing as audition, just walk through the doors, see what happens. So I was like, you can just sit here and watch the comedians. You don't even have to do it. Like, just watch him. So I get there,
Because they
and
call out, you had to reserve your spot ahead of time.
what this was is you get there at a certain time and you put your name in a hat, and then
Oh, okay.
they pull from the hat, and then you
Oh,
go up.
okay.
So you never know when you're going on.
Whoa, like,
which
oh
I didn't even know. I did not know about that situation, bro. And
no, I don't know if I could do that.
I
Then
didn't,
I would probably have a heart attack. Just
dude, my
I'd
heart was
be,
racing.
yeah. Okay.
And so she was like, "Hey, are you here to watch? Or are you gonna perform?" And I was like, I don't know. I was thinking about performing, but I honestly don't know. And she's like, just do it. Everybody here's good. You know, they're cool. You'll be good. I was like, all right, let's do it. So
You're like, good talk.
yeah, I
You
was like,
really, everyone else is really good. You'll be fine.
yeah.
Mine would have been like, no, yeah, then I'm not doing it.
And so yeah, so I put my name in the hat and I went inside, and this venue can hold like 100 people easy. And they have the stage up front and all the lights are dimmed, and like I'm just getting flashbacks to when I went and did the
Oh,
audition
from Eastern Oregon.
from
Wow.
yeah. And I was like, whoo, all right, this is the big leagues here. And they have an MC and everything. And all of a sudden people start coming in, man. I'm talking like 30, 40 people start coming into this place. It's Tuesday night. I'm like, what is people doing? What are you guys doing? Don't you have anything better to
You
do?
go home. Go
Yeah.
home. You go
Come on.
outside. Hey guys, the event's canceled.
Yeah. Sorry.
Actually.
There's no comedians tonight.
Oh
Uh,
wow.
so yeah, so this place starts getting pretty filled up, and they got like music
How
playing.
long before the stand up started were you there? Like how long do you have to sit in this uncomfortableness?
Oh yeah, I was sitting with uncomfortableness for probably 30 minutes before they started.
And then they start bringing people in. So you got there 30 minutes before. Let's say that what time the event start?
I think it started at 8, and you had to be there at 7:30 to put your name in the hat.
Okay, so you only have 30 minutes of like, was that a good idea? Then eight people start rolling in, and you're like,
Yeah.
holy cow, this was a terrible idea.
Yeah. And so then I'm like, so I find another guy there that's just he's drinking profusely, and I was like, hey, you doing stand up tonight? He's like, no, 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 I'm just here to watch. And he's like, I've done stand up in the past. He's like, I'm just here to watch to kind of get a feel for the crowd to see which jokes I want to do. And I was like, is that how you're supposed to do this? I was like, I was just gonna wing it. And he's like, what? I was like, yeah. I was like, this is my first time. I was like, he's like, oh. And he's like, I guess that's cool. And I was like, you're not going up tonight? He's like, no, I just moved here. He's like, I mean, he's like, I've been here a couple times, but I want to get like a feel, a vibe for it. And I was like, oh, okay. And so he's like, yeah. So I'm chatting with him for a little bit, and then I was talking to this guy. I was like, dude, you gotta go up there, like, just do it. Like, he's like, what? I was like, you've already done stand up before. Like, what's different about it? And I was like, you got jokes written up, right? He's like, yeah. I was like, just go up there then. So
Got
I got him,
jokes and ha ha ha.
so I got him to sign up, and so all the comedians started rolling in, like all the regular comedians. You could tell who they were, who had been doing this a while. They just start rolling in, and so the MC guy has all the regulars go up there first, and
Warm up the
actually,
crowd.
kind of, yeah. And the guy that I talked into going, he got called up very first. Actually, that's what it was. He was the
So
first
he
one.
after you talk to him, he's like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna go do it. And he put his name
Yeah,
in the
put his
hat.
name in that, and he was the first one to get drawn to go up there.
Wow, what did he say? Were you with him when he got drawn?
Yeah, I was sitting at the same table as him,
And
and
then he
so
got drawn. What'd he do? He's like, man, screw you, you idiot.
he went up and he did some joke about weed or something like that. I don't know. It wasn't very good, or at
Yeah.
least I didn't think it was very good. But
Did you talk to him about how yours was afterwards?
yeah. So
Easy to judge.
here's the crazy thing. So I got there at 7:30, and I'm waiting for my name to be called. I'm so nervous. I can't. I'm like fidgeting. I'm
Yeah.
just freaking out, and all these
Yeah.
calling all these comedians one after the other. Next up, and then on deck. Next up, on deck. Next up, and I didn't hear my name. I was like, oh my gosh. So I'm sitting there for 2.5 hours, and my name still hasn't been called. And I was like, I don't even know. I was like, I should probably just leave. I don't know if I'm ever gonna get called up. And then finally the MC was like, if your name hasn't been called, but you still want to go up, come see me. And I was like, all right, I'm ready here. I'm just gonna go do this, get it
Oh,
over with.
I cannot believe like this is what I'm saying, man. Like a
Yeah,
normal
I
human would
I
have
lived
just been like sweet, get out of jail free. I'm out of here. Like I
Yeah.
tried. My thing would be, you know what, Crate, you did enough. You came
Yeah.
here,
You
you
showed up.
endured it. Your name didn't get hey, good job, buddy. Get out of here.
Yeah. Yeah. So for 2.5 hours, I'm just sitting there. I'm like, am I doing this
Yeah.
masturbation joke or what am I gonna do up there?
Hey guys, are we gonna do this masturbation or
Yeah.
not? Like I'm
Yeah.
prepared.
Yeah. And so I was just sitting there thinking this whole time, and I was like, all right, finally I can get up there. And by this time, there was pretty much nobody there. Oh, just the people that got too drunk. The homeless people were trying to sleep in the corners at this point in the night,
Mm.
and it was just dead in there. And so I get up there,
Wait,
and
so
this,
when you went and talked to the lady, when she said, is anyone's name, did you say, and she's like, oh, I lost your name? Or was
no,
there just that many people that they just hadn't got to your name yet?
yeah, there's just that many people.
Okay.
Yeah. So then I was like, hey, I'm still here. I want to go up. He's like, okay, you'll be on like within the next 4 or something. And
Wow.
so then they call your name and they call the comedian's name, and then next up, like on deck. And
Yeah.
then you go sit behind this comedian. And as soon as they're done, you go up, and he calls you up, and you just like, as soon as you get up there, the lights are so bright.
Hmm.
You can't see
See.
anything. It's just nothing. It's just like,
Yeah.
it's like bright and then black, pitch black.
Uh,
And it's a weird feeling. It's a very weird feeling. For some people, I could see it going really slow, but for me, it went by really fast, and I ended up not doing
just
the
like
match.
masturbation.
Yeah, that was part of my joke.
Oh,
That would have been part of the
sorry.
yeah, that would have been part of the joke, but no, I switched it up last minute as soon as I got on stage. Um, I switched it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What was your switch?
I switched it to, I was like, I finally figured out what my purpose on earth was, and that's to
Would you
be
you just walk out and say, "Hey, let's see, let's hear this bit." You just walk out and say, "Hey, I've been thinking a lot lately."
yeah, you just grab the microphone and the timer starts. You got 3 minutes, and
Can you leave early? Like if you shoot your shot and it's no good, can you be like,
yeah, oh yeah, you could just put the
oh,
microphone
okay,
down, walk
okay,
away. Yeah,
yeah,
there's clear exits.
yeah,
Um,
okay.
but I wanted to do the full 3 minutes.
I mean, yeah, you someone that dude, it just blows me away. Like I again am pretty good at dealing with physical pain, like I'll endure, but that sort of thing, I think you have the same sickness that I have of I can endure misery, pain, things, but to sit in that sort of emotional
Yeah,
discomfort or
discomfort.
uncomfortableness for 3 minutes to be like, oh, good. Whereas mine's like, oh, how hard can I push myself? What physical attribute can I do?
Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
mine's definitely just like, what more uncomfortable situations can I get myself into? And I think, obviously, coming from a coach's perspective, I think one way to be okay with getting out of your comfort zone is you have to know that feeling that you're getting of like fear or whatever emotions coming up when you want to do something, but it's
Hmm.
going to better yourself, is to just acknowledge that feeling, be like,
Hmm.
all right, I know why you're here. It makes sense. Like, I
I
get
know
it.
what that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I understand why you're here. You're trying like to protect me
Right.
and, keep me safe. But then once you're in that area, you have to say, but I want to continue experiencing more life. Like, I know this will be good for me in the long run.
But how do you know that
You
falling
don't.
on your face, the failure thing is going to be good? Because I feel like
Well,
it's so easy to say these bumper stickers. Oh yeah, this is going to be great for you later. But there's things that I've endured in my past that it took years for me to be like, oh yeah, that was really useful. But it
yeah.
took a long time.
Well, I don't think anybody knows what's going to be useful for them, actually. I think
Right.
it's more of just, like I said, leaning into those uh, energies that give you more energy. And these were those things. And so, in order to push past that fear, um, you don't know if it's going to be best for you, but obviously you have the bumper sticker of no success without failures. So you can lean in on that.
Yeah, that one I hate. Doesn't do
But
anything
yeah,
for me.
that one doesn't do anything for me either.
But I love what you're saying is like if you're doing it in the theme of or in light of or because of this thing that brings you energy, like to have faith that this energy is taking you somewhere because there's
yeah,
other areas of your life like basket weaving or whatever that doesn't give you that energy. So yeah, you don't need to go feel the fear in those areas, but
you're
these
not gonna,
things.
you're not obviously not gonna have fear in anything that you're comfortable in. It's just you've gotten past that fear. Obviously, when you first started coaching, there was fear, or when you first started basking weaving, there was fear. But once you become proficient at it, I guess, and the fear
But
washes
are you
away.
saying that it's not important that it's towards something that you're passionate about?
I think,
Because you said that you're following the fear of the thing that brings you joy or brings you energy. And I would agree that I think that that's the key thing because when you feel that fear, if you're doing it towards the thing that you love or enjoy, having faith in that thing can be enough to pull you forward. But if you don't really enjoy the thing, like you don't want to get better at it, there's not some energy exchange, then you'll listen to the fear and the self-doubt and all that to like walk away.
yeah,
Does that make sense what I'm saying?
100%, and that's exactly what I mean. Because I remember reading somewhere that like wherever there's fear, that's the road you need to take,
Mm.
and I think that's true because anytime I do a performance or any type of acting or anything like that, I still get that nervousness, that
Yeah.
that still slight fear in there. But I know whenever you feel that, I think you're on the right path.
So what if I was to go like skydiving or something like that, and I get that feeling of fear? Does that mean I'm on the right path, or does that just mean my body is literally programmed to be afraid of death?
I think that one's more so of a lot of dopamine being released, and so
Mm.
you're getting quite the thrill. Um, and obviously there's a balance because a lot of acting and stand up is, I think it's pretty similar to skydiving. I think you get a lot of dopamine if you get a good reaction from the crowd.
Oh yeah, you get a good reward.
You're gonna be high on dopamine,
Yeah.
so you're gonna be chasing that feeling probably for the rest of your life. Um, but yeah,
Okay.
I think it's a balance. I think,
Yeah. Well, let's go
especially,
back then. So you go on the stage. Let's finish that out. So you went up there. You switched your joke. One with
mhm,
the I think I found my passion, and it's to be here with you all.
uh, my joke was I finally figured out what I'm supposed to do on Earth, and that's to be a bouncer at a midget only club,
Oh,
because in the movies you always see the midgets punching people and they hit them right in the genitals. But if they were to punch me, they'd hit me right in the abs, and all I do at the gym is ab work.
oh, there
So
you
yeah.
go. And then was that your only joke or?
No, so that didn't take up all my time. And so then I was like, oh shit, that didn't take up a lot of time. And then I came up with some other joke that I had previously thought of, and it was something about
Why didn't you
uh,
go back to your masturbation setup?
I did. I almost did. I even said that. I was like, I was gonna come out here and tell you guys about my first time masturbating. And then someone in the crowd was like, do it. But I didn't think I had enough time.
Oh,
Then I switch it up with some terrible joke about how dating and ghosting used to be a lot easier back in the old days when you just threw the bottle in the ocean for the message. Uh,
oh,
because if your girlfriend couldn't get mad at you because uh, you could be like, I don't know, a whale must have thought it was plankton or something and
mm,
ate my message, or it was a lot easier to break up with them type of thing. It was terrible.
right.
So yeah, so
And then you got done and you were done.
and then I went over to my buddy because or the guy that was there.
And he
Um,
waited for you, even
yeah,
though
he stayed the whole time. I was like, oh my gosh, that was cool of
oh
you.
my god, like to me, like that, like see, I'll cry about that. Like that's just such a beautiful, like that's where life happens in that
Yeah.
experience, and so much unknown that you went into that. He wasn't even going to perform because you came. This guy performed. He stayed around to watch you. Like, come on, like you can't predict that. And the amount of feelings that both of you got from that exchange, like, what more could you really want for 2 hours of life?
Right. Yeah. I mean, besides sitting through terrible comedy acts, but
Yeah.
yeah. And I guess I kind of did a dick move, because after I came off, I went up and talked to him, and he's like, "Oh, you did awesome, man." He's like, "That was pretty good for your first time." I was like, "Oh, thanks, dude." And I was like, "Oh, see you later." And I just left. I was like, I came here, I did what I was set out to do, and then I just left.
Oh wow, that's okay.
But
Yeah, I would have embraced him a little bit more.
yeah, I've been like, "Oh, dude, we should hang out sometime and try to come up with some jokes together or something like that."
Yeah.
But I
Well,
didn't.
live and learn. So
Yeah.
yeah, missed opportunity on an experience there. See,
Right.
I would have sought out that experience, but I wouldn't have done the stand up experience. Like, that sounds insane.
It's
So wait, does that mean that that's what I'm supposed to do then? Because that brings me so much fear. That's something that I need to push past.
I see. Yeah, I mean, I'm not wise enough to know all this yet. But yeah, I think that if you can continue to subdue the fear emotion and become more okay with it, and continue to do things that scare you. I mean, not on a skydiving level, but more so just taking those baby fear steps. I think it will put you, or I believe that will put you in a good situation in life.
No, and I would agree. I think that the more times that you follow the fear, the more excitement, the more experiences you're going to have. Because I can go back to when I was an engineer for so long. Like, I wasn't following the fear. I was staying safe. I was staying in a controlled environment. And by having a controlled environment, I was having controlled feelings, which were none. And that's why I got so numb and depressed and all that, because I literally controlled and contained the same thing to happen on a daily basis. So I
Yeah.
wasn't really experiencing life. I was pretty
Mhm.
much just existing. So
Yeah.
I think when you're following the fear, yeah, it's scary. And I love how you talked about that. Like, acknowledge, oh, yeah, that's what this is. Like, not trying to hide it, of being like, yeah, this is scary. I feel this, but this is for what life is about. It's about experience. It's about growing. It's about feeling these uncomfortable things, because this
Mhm.
is where life happens.
Yeah, and then if you obviously have a growth mindset, you're just like, damn, I'm gonna be doing this while no one else is doing this. And obviously that's not a good way to to think about it long term. But yeah.
But whatever gets you
But if
started.
if you're always trying to continue to improve on yourself and continue to grow, then obviously if you take the fear path, that's gonna be the quickest growth,
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure.
because you have to take action in that instant, and then that's when the real learning opportunities happen, versus
Yeah.
just reading about it and not ever
And the
seeing
growth, like the growth that it happens, that thing no longer controls you. You're starting to, desensitize to yourself to that thing,
it.
that it
And
doesn't
yeah,
control you. You get to face it and run into it.
yeah, and then you just kind of are being more in tune with all the emotions that transpire throughout your day and your activities. Because if you continue to let fear rule you, then I feel this is how I see it. As soon as I let fear run me, then all the other emotions will be like, oh, this guy's easy to take over. Let's go. And
What
then
other
they all,
emotions are there besides the fear? Like, that's the worst one. What other ones take over you after fear?
I mean, like fear, shame, anxiety.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of emotions that you experience.
I guess that's true.
Uh,
I
so
guess the
yeah,
fear one hits me more so
yeah.
than some of the other.
Obviously, that's the most prevalent one that stands out. But
Yeah.
if you
Okay.
can start subduing that.
Well, I want to start wrapping this up. I think that that was such a good one to talk about, how you dealt with stand up, dealing with the fear, how you push through. What do you I'm curious, just for my own, but like, what do you think your real superpower is then, given everything that you've gone through thus far in your wise age, all the wisdom you've endured?
Hmm. Adaptability kind of pops up at the
Mm,
forefront. Just just being able to change in any environment or any situation, and to not have it overwhelm me, because that can be a big trigger for a lot of people, is going into a different situation and then their nervous system just shuts down and they can't do anything about it. So I think that like moving around and doing all these different things and continuing to go outside my comfort zone um, has just made me more adaptable and allows my body to kind of do more things that other people find scary, I guess.
yeah, it allows you to kind of stay with the flow and go with where life goes,
Hmm.
essentially. You're
Yeah.
able to move with it. So if someone is struggling with, stepping out of their comfort zone, or actually, let me ask you this. What advice would you give yourself, 5 years ago or 15 years ago? Like, what do you think Kelson needed to hear to help him, you know, be better at getting out of his comfort zone? Or was that anything that you ever like or would you look back and be like, that was never an issue? Like, I've always been comfortable in my uncomfortableness.
A lot of the times it wasn't an issue.
It was or wasn't?
Wasn't, no.
Okay.
Yeah, I was pretty good with being myself most of the time and never had a problem stepping outside the comfort zone. That was until I got to college and the girls
The,
weren't
the
as,
real world.
yeah, I left
Yeah.
high school where
I felt the same.
I could just charm everybody and everybody loved me for some reason. I was like, damn, dude, I am,
Because I paved the path for you, bro. That's why.
ah, I
Doing
mean,
work.
yeah, I mean, I did some work myself for sure.
Yeah, it's easy.
But just having that, just a freaking uppercut straight to the chin
Mhm.
of like, it's a little bit different out here, man. It's you can still charm a few people here and there, but you don't have the whole town, and
Yeah.
you don't have all these girls who know about you and think you're cute and think you're funny and et cetera, et cetera. And that's when I lost a lot of it.
Mhm.
And then
So
I
what advice would you give that version, that Kelson out there, if there is someone out there that is at that point?
um
What did they need to hear?
they just need to hear more of them, of their true selves, of listening more to what they need versus not what society tells them that they need.
Mm,
uh, and
finding their true needs.
yeah, just kind of staying true in their own sense of who they are, and just continuing to just be okay with to what they are, and um, slowly work on improving things versus trying to get it all at once
Mm-hmm.
and try to understand everything at once.
It's like you were talking about that guy. It's the process. It's not the results.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, so many people will say it that, and I mean, I just kind of had the same, like my goals this year was to save up a certain amount of money financially. And then in the beginning, it was kind of fun to see the money go in. And then I hit that goal, and now it's like, okay, well, did that. That was, now I'm not, now I'm not satisfied. Now I want more.
Oh yeah, careful of
So
that
it's all,
one.
yeah, exactly. But I have that awareness now to know that even if I hit that next milestone, I'm still going to feel the same as I do right now.
Right.
So yeah, it's all about just the journey, man. Like if you can just love yourself, tell yourself you love yourself every day, like in the mirror, try to wink at yourself, do something fun, just be like, hey, what's up, sexy? Or it's tough. Yeah, it's not gonna be easy battle, and depending on how much confidence or no confidence you have, you're gonna start at different levels. Um, Luckily, I had a decent amount of confidence, but I lost a lot of it leaving high school. So I've been trying to get some of that back. And I think a lot of mine, I think a lot of what I get from performing is a little bit of that confidence.
Mm.
So that's kind of why I enjoy that. But
Or I would even argue that sometimes doing it is you letting go of the fear of that, of not being accepted, not being good. Like by facing it, like you're
mhm,
slowly cutting, the strength that that has over you of the, wanting to fit in with society, all these things.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, definitely. I think it's a lot harder than said, easier. It's a lot easier said than done. But
Oh yeah.
if you can just stay true to yourself and find those things that give you energy, stay away from the things that don't, and try not to conform to what you see on Instagram or in rom-coms or this type of thing, because that's taken away from who you are and it's putting up a bunch of masks over. And I'm still breaking down some of those old masks that I've learned from, those dating seminars that I went to, or how
And
to,
and here's the crazy thing is I think what we forget about is like if you put up these masks and you put on these like outfits to go out to conform, at some point you're still going to have to take that mask off. And I think
yeah.
we forget about that. Like at some point, like I even think about my relationships of like being this facade of a person. At some point, that facade, you get so tired of being that version that you're going to eventually fall into being yourself.
Hmm.
So it's so much better to lead with yourself and be like, okay, well, does this relationship, does it make sense for me to even go through all this emotion and all this stuff? But most of us come in and we're like, look, this is who I am and this is what I'm like, but you're not. And then 5, 10 years later, you're like, okay, this is actually who I am. I was
Yeah.
just kidding that whole time. It's like, what?
Yeah. And that's what I'm currently working on. Is I've always been a performer in relationships, and I'm just tired of that game, and I just want to be true and want to
You,
be 100% me. And there's so many people out in the world. Like, who cares if that one person's not accepting you for your true
right?
self? Like, just focus on accepting your own self, and then just start expressing that out into the world, and not being interested in the results that you get from whether they're attracted to you or not, or they want to be your friend or not. It's all for the best, because the universe and those energies are guiding you to where you're supposed to belong. So I think if you can grasp that concept at a young age, you're going to put yourself ahead
Be
of
far ahead.
99% of people.
Yeah, I agree. That's great. That's great input, especially for someone out there that's, doubting, struggling, wanting to do these things.
Hmm.
Okay, so before we wrap up, where can people connect with you if they want to hear more about what you're doing, they want advice on improv, anything like that? Like where is the best place for us to go find you? Where can we go find the short guide to 30? Where can we go read the book?
You can read. You can read. I'm changing this website soon, but right now it's up for free, because I just want to put out value to the world.
Love it.
But you can find it at theshortguy.org.
Short guy,
And
not guy, GUY
yep, theshortguy.org.
.org. Okay. So
And
you can go there,
then
you can read the book. And if they want to connect with you, ask you questions, they're struggling, they want to get into improv, they want to figure out how to get better at getting out of their comfort zone, how can they
yeah,
reach out to you?
you can find me on Instagram. I'm there, Kelson.Bertrand.
Okay.
And then on Twitter, I'm on Twitter a little bit more. I can't remember what my
Wait, are
handle
you
is.
not on the new threads?
I'm gonna try to get on those.
Threading?
Yeah, how's that going for you?
I actually really, and I never got into Twitter so much, but I
Uh-huh.
actually really enjoy threads
Oh, nice.
because you can
Yeah,
write stuff and you can post pictures. So to me, it's like
right. It's kind of a cool
really,
combo.
yeah. So, okay. So, what's
Uh,
your Twitter?
Kelson M. Bertrand.
Is that all one word?
Yeah, at Kelson M. Bertrand.
Okay. M is in Mary or
Or
Moses.
Moses, because that's my middle name.
All right, brother. Well, thank you so much for spending the time with us. I hope someone got some value out of this. And I know even just hearing the stuff that you're talking about, it's like kind of making me think about where there's some opportunities for me to continue to push and seek out that discomfort. So I appreciate you sharing what you do and realizing that you do have some superhuman, inhumane things that makes you go after it. But you did give me some tidbits on how I can push through. So I appreciate that, bro.
Yeah, just embrace the suck, man. Embrace the
Embrace the
fear.
suck. I love it. All right, bro. I love you. Thank you so
All
much
right.
for your time. We'll talk to you later.
Love you too, man. Proud of you. Take care.
Later, guys.